lies in front of you is a 2016 Ram 2500 Crew Cab with 60,000 miles. Now, before I begin, this is the Ram 2500, not the Dodge Ram 2500, as there was a brand split in 2010 for Ram to make solely trucks and Dodge to focus solely on cars. Nonetheless, this current generation, or this current series of Ram was introduced in 1981, following the discontinuation of the Dodge D-Series, and there have been 5 generations since then. This belonged to the 4th generation, which existed from 2009 to 2019. Now, this Ram in specific is the 2500 HD, mainly aimed at competing with the Ford Super Duty, Chevy Silverado, and GMC Sierra 2500 HDs. This Ram specifically is equipped with a 6.4-liter Hemi V8 engine, producing 410 horsepower. This thing is an absolute brute and can haul a lot of weight. And the success of the Ram has been prevalent in the recent years, as it has surpassed 536,000 sales in America last year, as people are clearly looking to buy some big Ram pickup trucks. And in this video, I'll be telling you exactly why. In this video, I'll be taking you around the Ram, showing off its ruggedness and power, seeing where it falls in the limitless evaluation scale, and seeing all of its other features. Stay tuned. Beginning with the exterior of the 2016 Ram 2500 HD, the first thing that is very noticeable is this truck is fully blacked out, as it was custom made to do so, and this truck simply looks incredible. The blacked out Ram 2500 looks so great. It looks really mean, it looks tough, it looks powerful. It's a very nice, imposing look to this vehicle. So continuing with the exterior of the Ram 2500, we are now going to move up to the grille, which it has the iconic crosshair grille. Ram, take notes. This is what a Ram grille should look like, not the bubbly and weird huge letters Ram. The crosshair grille is a staple which makes people realize it is a Ram truck, not the actual word itself. So please go back to this, it looks so much better. Continuing with the exterior of the Ram, as you can see, we have these massive roof lights, and so if at night it'll be illuminated, giving you a bit of a more imposing look. And as you see here, you have your towing mirrors. If you want to open this up and you have a big trailer to haul, simply push outward and it will reveal the towing mirrors in case you have a big trailer behind you, you're towing some horses. If you want to put them back down, simply fold them back into their proper spot. So continuing with the exterior features of the Ram 2500, fitted on both sides of the bed, you have the Ram box, which provides you with an ample amount of extra storage. To open it, simply push your finger on the lock, open it up, and it reveals this really wide storage console, so you can store a bunch of items. And having this on both sides really emphasizes and enhances the overall storage of the Ram, which can come handy, especially if you have like longer items, such as an axe, a bat, something wide or long to hold in this thing. The Ram box will help you mightily with storing those. Another additional feature of the exterior of the Ram that is a nice touch is, as you can see, the running board runs from the front door all the way to the bed. It does not end at the rear door. It extends to the beginning of the bed. So in case you have a bit of a heavier object and need to lift it from an odd angle, you can simply jump on the running board and try and access the bed from right here, which is a pretty nice addition on Ram's part in case you need to use that to get some items in the bed of your truck. And one other feature on the Ram 2500, as you can see, this thing is shining. Beautiful. You have this massive chiseled Ram logo. It looks really awesome. And the new generations, they kind of changed it. They made it a little more like boxier and like a little more, I don't know, embossed, I guess is the proper word. But still very nice. And one other thing I want to touch on, it has the soft opening tailgate. So if you open it and simply let it fall, the tailgate will drop to a graceful shut, and you can throw whatever you want in the bed. And as I said, this has a bed cover currently on top of it, as you can see. But, you know, in case you want to throw some huge items, it's a very big truck. The bed is massive, and it even has these little LED lights so you can see in the bed if you're doing some late night work. Very nice on Ram's part. And just simply shut it, simply lift it back up, and you're good to go. So moving underneath the hood, it reveals this massive 6.4 liter Hemi V8 engine, which produces over 400 horsepower. Just as you can see, it's a colossal size engine just to power this massive ride. I wanted to kind of unveil the muscularity behind this big puppy.
So doing a size comparison between the two, it's not a huge difference, but there's a bit of a noticeable difference in the size, at least in terms of bed height. This is a 2016 Ram 2500, this is a 2004 Ford F-150 Lariat, and obviously it's a heavy-duty truck, so it should be a little bit taller, but as you can see, if you walk over, there's a bit of a noticeable difference between the height of these two vehicles. So continuing with the size comparison between the F-150 and the Ram 2500, as you can see, the hood of the Ram 2500 is almost up to my neck, which is pretty big, and if you look at the F-150, you can see it only goes up to about my lower chest, give or take. But still, standing between these two side by side, I would say the Ram has about a half a foot in height, maybe give or take, over the F-150s, which is pretty impressive, as the F-150 is no small truck itself.
So moving to the interior gauge cluster of the Ram 2500, as you can see here, you have a nice little Ram logo and chrome lettering above to remind you of the massive vehicle you are piloting. To the right, you have your fuel gauge and your speedometer. You have your tachometer and your temperature gauge on the left. And as you can see here, this is a big truck, so obviously the fuel mileage will not be incredible. As you can see, this vehicle averages 11.4 miles per gallon. However, if you're buying a 2500, I would not intend on averaging good fuel economy. Continuing with the center stack of the Ram 2500, as you can see, you have your various drivetrains. You have your two-wheel drive, your four-wheel drive lock, and your four-wheel drive low. In case, you know, the weather's bad and it's snowing, four-wheel drive will come in handy very nicely on this truck. Moving down here, as you can see, you have a little 12-volt outlet right here in case you want to charge your phone. Over here, you have
Your trailer brake settings.
Continuing with the lower buttons right here, you have your traction control, your tow haul mode, your heated seats, your heated steering wheel, your rear parking monitors, and some more seat controls for the passenger. There are a couple blank switches, as all the bells and whistles in the Ram, if you would get them all on the highest trim, they come near to $100,000 almost for a Ram 2500. Nonetheless, you got a good amount of features in this vehicle. Moving to the infotainment system of the Ram 2500, as you can see, it is a touchscreen, which is pretty nice. You know, you want to use your radio, simply hit that. You can, you know, scroll through the various radio settings, your media. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, put on directions, put on some music. Controls, have your various controls. As you can see, hit this, you have your backup camera, pretty nice quality. If you want to see what's in your bed, you have a rear cargo camera. As you can see, there's currently a bed cover on top of it, but say, you know, this was open, you had something you're hauling in the bed, you want to make sure your load's looking fine, not flying all over the place. This camera comes in handy very nicely. So you want to exit that, you hit the X button and you're simply out of the screen. Go back, you have your various settings as well, you know, check your MPG, your oil life, all that stuff in the actual settings. Over here you have your heated seat and heated wheel in case you don't want to use the actual buttons down below. Your U app, as you can see, kind of just a bit of a general display of all your various apps, navigation, driver's seat, pretty much all the basic stuff you might need. Your climate control, in case you don't want to use the actual buttons right here, and you can use them on the screen. Navigation, as I previously mentioned, you know, put on a map, you want to go get some Pizza Hut in your Ram 2500, throw it on the destination, easy to go. And your phone, as you know, cook up your phone, put it up, get some Bluetooth, get back to all your various features and controls. Very easy to use. It's not as, you know, instantaneous to your touch as like a brand new Mercedes-Benz. However, when you're getting a pickup truck, does that really matter? Continuing though with the overall center stack, you have your various, you have your volume knob, your hazards, your screen off in case you want to display the screen. If you want a blank screen, hit this button and the screen turns off. Pretty simple. And then simply you want to turn it back on right there. And as I previously mentioned, you have your AC controls in case you don't want to use a screen, use your actual buttons. RAM provides you with that, And as you can see, you have dual climate. Your passenger wants it on 72, you want it on 74, no problem. You can do that very easily. And your browse for your various music settings are right here. Very nice and simple system to use in the RAM. They integrate it very nicely. One thing I really like about this generation RAM is the screen is literally like the perfect size. It's not too big. It's not the current RAM where you have like a literal like small monitor on the center console, and it's not as small where it's like a little strip. It's like the perfect size screen for a vehicle. I really like the way this looks. They fit it nicely between these two vents and then the rest of your various features. But it's not overkill. It's a very nice just overall layout. Continuing with the interior of the Ram 2500, you have a little storage cubby right here in case you want to throw some coins, paper clips, little miscellaneous items. You have an actual outlet right here, so if you want to bring a toaster on your journey with you, feel free, hook it up in your Ram, pretty nice. You have the glove box in the Ram is pretty cool. It is a dual opening glove box. You simply hit a little button, the top opens, hit the strap, and the lower part opens. So you have a dual glove box, which gives you an ample amount of storage, which is very nice. One thing I like too, on both the driver's side and the passenger side door, you have a very long AC vent to kind of match the overall size of this thing. It is very proportionate without the entirety of the truck. You have another little storage outlet if you want to, or storage cubby in case you want to put some coins, little other items in there. And the storage just continues. You have a little outlet or a little cubby right here. You got your door handle. Another storage cubby right here, and then a massive one here if you want to put some water bottles, some books, whatever you need to do. Plenty of storage on the passenger side panel of the Ram. And one thing too, the seat's not even that far back. I have a ample amount of legroom. My feet are fully outstretched, about 5'10", but there is just a bountiful amount of legroom, just plethora of it. There's just no need to fear that you will not fit in the Ram 2500. Continuing with the interior of the Ram 2500, as you can see here in this trim of the Ram, you are fitted with a bench seat and a leather wrapped kind of center console, which is convertible into a bench seat, which I will show you in a minute. Nonetheless, if you hit this little button or open the little flap right there, you have a pretty deep center console. Honestly, it is very huge. You can use a lot of space, store a lot of items in here. As you see here, you have your various coin slots for quarters. Probably share this one with nickels and pennies, and then use this one for dimes. You fold it up. Before that, we have a couple more outlets in here, as you can see. If you want to charge your phone, you have this outlet right here. There's a USB or an actual 12-volt outlet right here. So there's a bunch of spaces where you can charge your phones, tablets, whatever you need to do. In case you and all your passengers are thirsty, there are 3 huge cup holders on this bench seat in the Ram 2500. So there's no need to fear. You can fit all your beverages in this vehicle. As I said too, there's a good amount of room in the side door panels as well. Now, if you want to hold 6 passengers in this Ram 2500, you can do so. Simply fold up the seat and it reveals a bench seat. So if you have another person in your crew that needs to go to your job or do whatever, you have a 6th seat available. And if you move down here as well, you can see there are even more storage panels right here. In case you want to put pens, papers, whatever need be, you have even more of them in the front. One other thing too, if you fold down the bench seat, once again, this center console / bench seat is absolutely huge. The driver and passenger of this vehicle are a time zone apart. It is just massive, plenty of room, and there's just a bunch of space, and it is just so roomy in the interior of this vehicle. Moving to the overall seat of the Ram 2500, as you can see, they have these massive cloth seats fitted in here. And though it is a cloth seat, it is very comfortable, as these seats are the size of a small recliner. If you're going on a long road trip, these seats are very cushiony and comfortable. But like I said, if you're going on a long road trip, you're going to haul something to across a couple states, these seats will fit you very nicely. I just drove in these, very comfortable, smooth, just nice seats overall. So as you can see, when you move to the rear of the Ram 2500 crew cab, as this is the crew cab, you have a plentiful amount of space as before. One thing that's pretty cool is if you fold up the rear seats, you have this little storage mount that can fold down like a bit of a table and then have just an ample amount of storage. This goes for all 3 of the seats, obviously, but if you want to have even more space in the rear of your Ram 2500, you have the option to do so. So fold up the seats, unlatch this, it folds back very easily. Simply just shut it like this, put the seat back down, and then it's right back to normal. It's very versatile and very nice.
And moving to the rear of the Ram 2500, as you can see, there is just a bunch of leg room. If your rear passengers need some space to sit, you could literally fit someone who's 6.5 feet tall in here, no problem. If I stretch my feet all the way out, there is just so much room in the rear seat. This is a full-size crew cab, as I previously mentioned, so just a bountiful amount of space back here. Beyond that, there's not, a lot of other cool features back here. You have two little AC vents for the rear drivers or the rear passengers. You have two cup holders embedded into the bed or the rear of the Ram 2500. In my Ram 1500 review that I did last year, it had these same two cup holders in the back. Pretty nice. A bit of a quirky feature, as cup holders are usually in a different spot, but nonetheless, if you want them, you have them here. But if you want two more cup holders, simply take this, fold it down, and there are two more cup holders for the rear seat passengers. Fold this back up, and then you are good to go. And beyond that, you have two little storage pouches on each seat, driver and passenger. And then, as you can see here, one cool little touch, I guess, on every door panel, it says Ram in big letters, as you can see right there. So getting behind the wheel of the 2016 Ram 2500 Crew Cab Bighorn, the first thing you notice is this thing is absolutely colossal. It is so damn big. You just feel like an absolute boss behind the wheel of this thing. You are like 6 feet off the ground. You're taller than literally everybody else, unless they have a Ram 2500 or a Super Duty or the likes. But this thing is absolutely huge. The one thing I will say too, it is surprisingly pretty quick, honestly. This thing has a huge engine. It's got the 6.4 V8 with a 410 horsepower, but just the sheer, the fact that this monstrous machine can move at such a light and quick feeling, it's impressive, honestly. My truck is old and it takes forever to get to 50. Not saying this thing is a speed demon, but once you you get up high and you're going, you hit the throttle, this thing really gets to speed really quickly. It's surprising of how light this monstrous vehicle is. This thing weighs almost 7,000 pounds, but it kind of floats. It's almost bizarre. The one thing, obviously, there's a lot of body roll. I mean, what do you expect? This thing is the size of a small yacht. And everything, it feels big. There's no denying that, but it is not as heavy as an older pickup truck. I mean, I've never driven an old 2500 before, but I imagine if you drove an old Super Duty, an old Ram, an old Chevy, it would probably have a bit more of that heaviness to it, opposed to this thing, which feels much lighter. Comfort-wise, the comfort is pretty good on this thing. You got huge seats. So there's plenty of comfort. You want to take this thing on a long road trip, there's no issue in doing so. You got that, big seats, and it's pretty smooth. I mean, obviously it's got the bumps of a truck. I mean, you can expect that, but and these massive mirrors, or the mirrors make the visibility is absolutely incredible. Turning radius is pretty strong too. Like I said, as big as this vehicle is, it is pretty agile. I'm gonna take another turn right here, go into this little tiny parking lot. This thing just handles it so nicely, and just the absolute size, though. It's hard to just not realize that it is such a huge vehicle. But when you're this high up, you can just kind of cruise. You're the king of the road now. The only thing, like I said, that'll be bigger than you is another 2500 heavy duty pickup truck. And it's just a sweet ride. It's comfortable, it's huge, it sounds great. The 6.4 liter Hemi V8 roars when you punch it. It's just an awesome truck to drive. Super cool. It is now time for the interview section, which I answer 6 generic questions one would ask when going to purchase a vehicle. Question number 1 of the interview section is, do I like the Ram 2500 Crew Cab Bighorn? And the answer is yes. This thing is an awesome ride. I had a blast reviewing this, so yes, I do like the Ram 2500 HD. Question number 2 of the interview section is, what is my favorite feature about the Ram 2500? And that is just the sheer size and power of this thing. You are so high off the road. It's got 410 horsepower. This thing can haul a ton of weight. So my favorite part is the colossal size of this vehicle.
Question number 3 of the interview section is, what is my least favorite part about the Ram 2500 beyond the gas mileage, obviously? One thing is like a little bit nitpicky. When you have a massive truck like this, you want it to sound a little bit louder. Being that it's a modern truck and every car now tries to be quiet and suppressed, the sound is not as rugged as you might imagine it to be. It still sounds pretty good, but not as loud as you might. However, if you want to throw on some giant exhaust, that problem can be solved very easily. Aside from that, there's not much wrong with this awesome truck. Question number 4 of the interview section is, what is the most unique feature about the Ram 2500? And that is easily the Ram box storage. Simply, like I said, press the button, let it open up. And the thing about this, there are 2 of these which provide an ample amount of storage on this vehicle, and no other truck has these. The Ford Super Duty doesn't have this, the Toyota Tundra doesn't have this, the Nissan Titan doesn't have this, the Sierra and the Silverado do not have this. So this is an awesome piece on Ram's part for storage, so this would have to be the most unique part about the Ram 2500. Question number 5 of the interview section is the Ram 2500 worth its value? And the answer is yes. While these are expensive, you gotta remember, you are getting a huge piece of machinery, and when you're dropping $50,000 on a luxury sedan, can that haul 20,000 pounds? No. Can this? Yes. You are getting so much room, a lot of things, and these hold their value pretty nicely. Trucks are expensive even for like 15 years old ones, and they can be work trucks and still be worth a lot of value with a lot of mileage on them. So yes, I would say the Ram's worth its value. Question number 6 of the interview section is, would I ever want to own the 2016 Ram 2500? And the answer is hell yes. This is probably the coolest vehicle that I've ever reviewed. This thing is a brute. I'm currently trying to save up for an older Ram 2500, so yes, I would own this thing in a heartbeat.
Now that we have evaluated the Ram 2500 Bighorn's rugged characteristics and features, it is now time to see where it falls in the lemon list evaluation scale. Before I begin, I would like to thank my friend Kyle and the rest of the Mullen family for lending me the Ram 2500 for the production of this video. Now on with the scoring. Starting with the exterior, it is hard to find a better looking modern truck than this one, having a simple and mean look, earning a strong 8 out of 10. As far as interior goes in the Ram 2500, the quality is fine, spacious and roomy, but not as nice as a German exotic. Yet again, it's a pickup truck, so it shouldn't matter too much, earning a 6 out of 10. Road trip on the Ram 2500 is also strong. While cloth is not as comfortable as leather, these seats are the size of a small sofa and are very comfortable, earning a 7 out of 10 for road trip. MPG on the Ram is abysmal as expected. I always go off the window sticker estimates for MPG. However, heavy-duty pickups are not mandated for MPG testing since they are intended for industrial use, so this time I'll have to go off the actual truck's projections of 11.5 MPG in the gauge cluster, which earns it a 2 out of 10 for MPG. Storage on the Ram 2500 is excellent, providing a ton of space in the roomy crew cab, as well as having a large bed and 2 Ram boxes, earning a 9 out of 10 for storage. Character on the Ram 2500 is solid, as this blacked out heavy-duty machine is certainly eye-catching. However, HD Rams are a pretty common vehicle in the US, still earning a respectable 6 out of 10. Wishlist on the Ram 2500 is good, having lots of modern and easy-to-use tech features that can come in handy for a massive vehicle like this, earning an 8 out of 10. As far as handling goes on the Ram, this truck is a massive machine with a wide frame and lots of body roll, expectedly not having the precision of an agile sports car, earning a 2 out of 10. Excitement on the Ram 2500 is also solid, as truck enthusiasts will find it cool, while non-truck people will get a kick out of driving a vehicle 3 times the size of theirs, earning a 6 out of 10 for excitement. Stupidity on the Ram is solid overall, not possessing many nitpicky flaws, earning an 8 out of 10. Pricing of the Ram 2500 is good, as these are expensive at first but will suit your needs if you put it to work. Most Rams hold their value pretty nicely, earning a strong 7 out of 10 for price. Engine responsiveness in the Ram is surprising for its size, as the truck has impressive agility for how big it truly is, earning a 4 out of 10 for engine responsiveness. And overall amenities on the Ram is solid, as the truck has many valuable features, however still not possessing the awing features of modern luxury sedans and SUVs, still earning a strong 8 out of 10 for overall amenities. Add that all together, you get a grand total of 81 out of 130, divide that by 13 categories is 6.23. The Ram 2500 lands high on the lemon list, only falling short to the sporty BMW X3 and M235i, while tying the 2008 Mercedes-Benz S-Class for third place of all the 21 vehicles I've reviewed. The 2016 Ram 2500 outduels the older Ram 1500, Ford F-150, and Toyota Tundra by a wide margin for its better looks and modern tech, while beating out the 2018 Toyota Tundra Limited by a few points for its better looks, storage, and power. Overall, the Ram 2500 is a great truck to consider if you're in the market for an HD pickup. I had a blast reviewing it. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews on the way.